Hello, fanboys and girls, and welcome to the Fanboy Fight Club podcast, brought to you by Media Junkies. Every Tuesday, we grace your ears with either a new or classic episode. You can catch or listen to all of our previous episodes in our show's archives. We have 3 other podcasts that you can also enjoy. You can find Jarmar and Wes on the Rogue Agents podcast. You'll have to catch up on some episodes. Jarmar also just started a new podcast called Why Are You a Gamer, where I'm actually the guest this week. Mike and Wes have also been guests on the show, so definitely check those episodes out. You can also catch Michael and I on the Gimmick Minute Wrestling podcast, and you can find pretty much everything if you just search Media Junkie in your favorite podcast app, and you can find all the access to every single one of those podcasts, and you can follow us, subscribe, and give us a nice 5-star review if you're using Apple Podcasts. So you can also leave us feedback. Just tweet us or check out our Instagram at Media Junkie Vids. My name is Jason. I have the pleasure of hosting the show. It's time to introduce you to the fanboys, and you're going to find out in the main event where the Fight Club part comes in. We have a full cast of characters on this week's show. First, we got the brains of Media Junkie. Wes, what's up, man?
Hey, nice job fucking up your own intro.
Yeah, thanks, man. I totally did not follow the script at all, did I?
I was reading with you, and you're like, you can find, and then there was that long pause. I was like, oh, he fucked up. But then you saved it.
You know what he can't find? His spot in the script.
You saved it. You did pretty well.
I think the problem was he went through everybody else's podcast and where you can find them, and then he got to me, and he's like, oh, this is the only thing he does.
Shit. I haven't even got to that part yet, Jake. So, speaking of which, we have the man who you interact all the Fanboy Fight Club social media accounts, Jake, and then we got the host of Why Are You a Gamer, and also the host of the Rogue Agents podcast, and Jarmar. What's up, man?
Thank you. Hey, hi, what's up?
Good. And Jake, how you doing tonight?
I'm all right. I'm down.
See,
in
you guys have all
you guys have helped.
You guys have helped me fuck this up now. So.
Oh yeah, it's a fucking dumpster fire at this point.
So you said you're sitting on a balcony, Jake?
Yeah. I'm down in Phoenix for the weekend.
Oh, nice.
So I'm out on a balcony where it's not freezing my ass off right now. It's a nice 50 degrees.
So Jake recording on location. All right. And that other voice that you heard is one of my co-hosts on the Gimmick Minute Wrestling podcast, as I said before, and the man behind all of the beautiful graphics on our channel. We got Michael. How you doing, man?
Oh, living the dream.
All right, cool. Hey, before we get into it, you guys had something you wanted to bring up and talk about, right? Before we get into the main event, what were you guys talking about there?
Yeah, I was just going to mention how Mike has terrible taste in shows and movies.
Oh my god, you're
also,
stupid.
Can we talk about how when you ask somebody how they're doing and they say living the dream, it really means they want to kill themselves.
Oh my god, you've mentioned this like on episode 6.
Right?
So
for at least this time, he left
it.
out the part that before it was only white people say it because they want to kill themselves.
Well, it's because I've never heard any non-white person say it before. Like it's
Oh my god.
Like you guys know the white, like you know when you're walking in the hallway and you pass a coworker and you do like it's everybody I've talked to calls it the white person smile. It's just that flat smile all the way across. Because every person I run into and I work with that is non-white does not do that. But every person I do that work with that is white, it's that stupid little fucking smirk smile thing.
God damn, are we off the rails right now?
I'm white.
I don't know, Jarmar, do you want to weigh in on this? Yeah.
I have zero opinion.
No, but seriously, Crisis on Infinite Earth started this week. We're 3 episodes into it.
Who needs segues?
It's fucking garbage, and Mike
It
loves
is not. You are stupid, and you should feel bad about being stupid.
You got all
Mike,
my
you
text.
only love it because it jerks off your nerd boner. The same
Exactly.
shit we're given
That's
for the
all I needed to do.
Mandalorian. Yeah, no.
Dude,
But it
it's
needs to be
getting,
good.
I'm not saying it's the quality of the DC Universe shows at all. It's by far not that. But being invested in this fucking universe for 8 years now, and getting all of these cameos, getting the fact that the multiverse is pretty much every single DC live-action property is attached to it now, officially. It's everything I could possibly want from DC live-action, and I accept that it's got the CW, standard of quality, so I don't have this like super crazy end game level expectation like everyone else seems to apparently have.
No, it just needs to quit being so much of a soap opera. That's the problem with it.
It's the CW. This is what they've done for 8 years.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean it's not garbage. It's still fucking garbage.
Dude,
Right.
it is
So
not
let's
even
carry
the
the
soap-
analogy.
Let me say this though. Oh yeah, because I was gonna hop on that analogy you mentioned about getting a nerd boner or getting jerked off.
Right. So
it's like getting jerked off by like a fucking cactus, because sure it might feel good at one point, but it is so painful, and I just oh man, I'll keep watching it, but geez,
I mean, I was going to say
CGI,
almost the same thing. I was going to say, like, yeah, that Crisis on Infinite Earth jerks off your nerd boner, but it's like getting it from like a homeless meth head versus The Mandalorian, which it's like getting it done by a model. Like, why
okay,
would you
but
want one
Mandalorian,
over the other?
compare the budgets though. Like, let's
So basically,
compare the budget, what Disney
basically-
money being thrown at it versus what Warner Brothers is like giving to CW to do this. Like,
Crisis on Infinite Earth
huge
is a
difference.
sandpaper hand job. It's a sandpaper hand job. That's what it is.
it seems like
It's
the
like
budget's like
you have
$10
Kevin-
per
You
episode.
have Kevin Conroy on it, and it was fucking terrible. And then
There-
you
there
killed
were
him
parts of
just
it that
by
were terrible.
executing him. Come on.
I will
Alright.
say his death was
Okay.
real dumb, but
Alright.
overall, I like that they made him angry old Batman and not just like fucking milk the fact that he's the animated series Batman.
I should have milked it.
All right, so coming from somebody in his life that has experienced a really bad hand job before, let's go ahead and move on to a different topic.
Hold on.
PTSD.
Sidebar. Let's make this a new podcast called Jason's Hand Jobs. Let's talk about it.
Should have brought
it
that
was-
up on Why Are You a
Yeah.
Gamer?
it was a drunk college party, and it did not feel good at all. But anyway, moving on. So
What was
The
his name?
cactus?
Her, I'll be honest with you, I don't know her name. I just happened to
Oh,
pass out
her?
next to
I
somebody. Yeah.
thought it was a him.
But
I'm
anyway,
more confused by the fact, are we sure it was an actual person? I mean, if you were drunk, it could have just been you grinding up against
No,
like a
it
fur.
was-
Oh, you fucking strangered yourself. That's
It
what
was-
it is.
So it's-
Well, I mean,
it was a
I was
it
going to
was
say.
it was a person. It was a really weird situation. But anyway, I'm
I
not
was
get
going
into
to say it's real hard to tell the difference between a male cactus and a female cactus.
But let's talk about a good orgasm. How fucking good was the Ghostbusters Afterlife trailer?
It was
What is
great. It was great.
I was like, damn,
I thought it was
cricket.
amazing.
I have watched it like 10 times already, and not because I wanted to, but because one of my kids, Noah, is fucking obsessed with the Ghostbusters. And since that trailer came out, he's asked me every day, like, hey, I thought we were going to go see that movie. Well, no, you got to wait like 7 more goddamn months. Trust me,
Right.
I would have watched it now too. But now I'm in my own personal hell where I got to have him ask that every fucking day for the next 7 months.
Right.
Oh, that's funny.
I mean, honestly, though, like that trailer was amazing, but
It
the
really
last
was.
week and a half has been like amazing for trailers, just in general. Like, we
Yeah,
got
like the- what was it,
Widow
the-
one, we got the Ghostbusters one, and I know I'm forgetting a bunch of them.
That shitty ass Wonder Woman one.
How about that Ryan
yeah, the
that
Wonder
Ryan
Woman
Reynolds
one
movie,
wasn't
Free
great,
Guy?
but yeah, Free
Yeah,
Guy.
She's
that was really
Spider-Man
good.
through lightning. What else do you want?
That's fucking stupid.
I thought it was cool.
It does answer the question for all the people who complained about the PS2 Spider-Man games. Like, where was he shooting webs? Well, now we know.
Oh,
But
God.
you know, like the Wonder Woman trailer did have one major awesome thing going for it, and it's Pedro Pascal. You know, like that's.
I was going to say the
amazing,
music.
so.
The music was great. I loved
The
it.
music was also good. And is it Kristen Wiig? Is that who plays?
Yeah.
Shiva?
Yeah, Kristen
Yeah.
Wiig. Yeah.
Kristen.
Who
you know,
I
same person.
I actually had to like Google who the cast was to like see what character she was playing because it's not obvious at all from the trailer.
Oh, yeah, not at all. It wasn't
I was
for that
like,
that they
all right,
announced it
who's
like
this
a year or
fucking
two
guy?
ago when they announced the movie. I probably wouldn't have been able to tell by the trailer at all.
Right, but I fucking forgot that shit.
All right. So we have an awesome Discord channel entitled Movies that we can continue this conversation on. Anybody that wants to join. How do you join that, Jarmar?
Oh, well, you actually just click the link in the show notes, and
Ooh.
it's an infinite amount of clicks, so everyone can join.
All right. Yeah.
No, you
Sure.
got to make it limited. Then they'll want to. That's how things work nowadays.
Oh, yeah, it only lasts for 5 seconds.
Right.
Like Jason's
You have to click it before the
Let's
end of
go.
the episode that you're listening to, or you would never be allowed in.
Did you say like
Yeah,
Jason's
the
hand
link
job?
is only good for 10 seconds after we finish the episode.
All right. So let's go ahead and move on to the main event. I've elected to participate in this week's battle, so I'm going to pass the mic to Wes and Jake, who are this week's judges. So, gentlemen, the floor is yours. Let's get it started.
Welcome to the main event. Since it's the holiday season, we thought, why not piss a ton of people off? Cool notes, Jason.
Thanks,
Tonight,
buddy.
the fanboys,
including people that don't celebrate Christmas.
Right.
Tonight, the fanboys are pitching
Take that,
holiday
Hanukkah.
movies they feel are in need of a reboot. Since Jarmar is the bitch of the week, Jake and I chose this topic for him, and we wish him the best of luck, kind of. Here's how the main event works. All fighters will be given an intro round to bring up their topic, a 30-second defend round, a 30-second attack round, and a closing round. In between each match, the fighters' round will be judged. The goal is to win, but the motivation is not to be the loser. The loser of the show will be deemed the next bitch of the week. So I'd like to take a moment to explain to the folks at home what it means to be the bitch of the week. So bitch of the week is the Fanboy Fight Club punishment. Tonight's loser will be forced to compete on the next episode. The judges of that episode will pick the bitch of the week's topic. The bitch's job, Jarmar in this case, is to review the subject given and create a valid argument to get out of the loser's seat. So tonight, if Jarmar fails to do so, he will move on to next week and become the double bitch of the week. If the bitch of the week happens to lose a second time, he will become an unprecedented, and we haven't had this yet, triple bitch of the week. If the bitch loses at that point, they'll be shamefully demoted to judge, and we will kick them in the face when we see them in person. If we happen to have two losers, a sudden death will be initiated. The judges and tonight's winner will then pick the second place winner, thus leaving an overall loser who will be the bitch of the week.
I like how you threw in the kick the person in the face. That's a nice touch.
Oh, I wasn't going to tell you guys. I was just going to do it when I see you.
Yeah, that was unscripted.
That's fair. That's fair.
All right.
That's real bad news for Jarmar.
I think Mike and I have the advantage because we're all the way on the other side of the country.
All right.
Although we can see each other.
Mike's coming home soon.
So let's find out which
Right.
fanboys will be competing in tonight's episode. In the Jizz Corner, we have the Cactus Handjob Jason. In the Garbage
God.
Corner, we have the guy who likes so much fucking garbage, and I don't know why he's super cool with it. We have Mike. Yay, Mike, like garbage. And in our Bitch of the Week Corner, we have the man, the legend, Jarmar.
Man, already feeling that favoritism.
I mean, I thought my intro for you on Why Are You a Gamer was good. That was awesome.
Oh yeah, like Jesus Christ, like
You know-
are you guys in each other's houses right now, like giving each other hand jobs? Like,
I first off, I wish, and
I
second,
have Jergens.
I never get to. I need you
So-
to jerkin my jerkin with that jerkins.
So I'm
Holy
just gonna
shit.
throw it out there that I recently got WWE 2K20 for free, and I'm going to make a character for Jason called Cactus Handjob Jason.
I like it.
Give it a new meaning to Cactus
Now,
Jack.
I never get to do an introduction because I never host a podcast, so I wanted to do something nice.
That was good.
All right, so here we go. So we got round one. In this round, the contestants will make their case. We're going to present their idea, and the time limit is unlimited. The first person we have up is the Garbage Corner, Mike.
God damn it!
Yeah, fuck you. You did to me last week.
I didn't do it on purpose. I literally just chose at random.
I chose that random too. Uh-huh.
Yeah, just like that random intro of like the man, the myth, the legend.
No favoritism. He could be the bitch of the week. It's all about your ideas and how you present them. Let's go.
I don't believe that right now. Anyway, so we discussed, rebooting a Christmas movie, and then, a lot of the old ones, they don't really need rebooted. So I just went with one that I think could be rebooted and done well, and that is the Santa Claus. And in my movie, we're going to address things a little different. We're going to try to stay true to like the original feel of things while try and make it more relevant to today. Like, obviously, there'll be a lot of mentions of how the fact that, well, kids don't really give a shit about Santa because they're too busy staring at their phones all day. And also with my cast, it'll kind of bring a new flavor to things. Speaking of my cast, we're going to start with Scott Calvin, who's going to be played by Jason Bateman. Jason Bateman is from Arrested Development, along with Game Night and several other really well-done things. His version of Scott is going to be still a terrible father, but a little less of a douchebag, a little more of just like that guy at the office who gets stepped on because he's way too polite and doesn't have much of a backbone. His son, Charlie, is going to be played by Roman Griffin Davis, who, if you haven't seen this movie, Jojo Rabbit is absolutely amazing, and you need to go see it. He fucking destroys it. We're going to have his mom, Laura, played by Melissa McCarthy, mostly just because, despite the fact that the movie was bad, the movie she had with Jason Bateman, they had some really good chemistry, and I enjoyed that part of it. And she's, in my opinion, funny, despite the fact what a lot of people think. Neil is going to be played by Mark Ruffalo, who is the Hulk in all of the Marvel movies. I feel like he's going to be able to bring a little bit of comic relief with the therapist side of things. And then I decided to change things up because I couldn't find someone who really stuck out as a good Bernard for me. And I feel like Bernard is a kind of key pillar in this movie. So I decided to change it up, and instead of Bernard, we're going to have Bernadette. And she's going to be played by Kiernan Shipka, who is in Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. She has a real good sense of humor and just snarky and sassiness to her that I feel like would be perfect for the Bernard character. So she's now be Bernadette, and seeing her interactions with Jason Bateman, I feel like is going to be absolutely fantastic. We'll go through, and obviously there's going to be a few things that have to change just because, you have to be a little more careful in today's society than what you used to be able to do. Also, we're going to kind of try to stray away from what they usually do with Melissa, where there's not going to be a lot of fat humor or her getting thrown around, because we don't need female Kevin James in this movie. We need her to actually do a good job just on her own. Besides that, though, that's my pitch for the Santa Claus movie.
Well, all right. I appreciate your pitch for the Santa Claus movie. And next, we're going to be moving on to the Cactus Handjob, Jason.
Yeah. All right. Judges, my two worthy components. Let's take a stroll back to 1964. Beatlemania was in full swing. Lyndon B. Johnson was the president of these great United States of America. Hippies were protesting the Vietnam War. It was a time of sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Television wasn't the staple in homes as it is now, really. But for the many families that were huddled around a cozy fire on December 6, 1964, a tradition was born. During the General Electric-sponsored Fantasy Hour on NBC, we got a visual representation of a now classic song performed by Johnny Marks, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. I already know what you're going to say. Can't remake a classic, right? That's kind of what the idea is here. But think about it. When we were children in the late 80s to early 90s or mid 90s, depending on, I know I'm a little older than some of you, but animation really had not progressed all that much from 1964. Not anywhere close to where it has now, which is kind of my point. This is why I chose this film, right? So we look at this movie as a timeless classic, but younger generations don't see it like we do. I remember as a kid not being able to wait for Rudolph to come on TV. If you missed it, tough shit. If you didn't tape it, you were waiting a full year to see it again. Now, all these Christmas movies are just available for free on Freeform, and you can watch it the entire month of December. For my kids, Rudolph isn't even on the list. It's a story that kids love, given by the evidence of the still popular song. The movie, I think, just gets lost in translation because it's completely outdated with the stop motion animation. When we talk about rebooting a classic like this, I'm not talking about a complete overhaul. The main story stays, maybe a few minor script changes. Let's even keep the original narration done by Burl Ives. To kind of give it an old school feel, right? We can update the voice actors though, and that way we can kind of get a bit of a buzz, right? How about Donald Glover as Rudolph, or Jim Rash as Hermie? How about Nick Offerman as Yukon Cornelius, Sabrina Carpenter as Clarice, and John Goodman as Santa, just to name a few. Let's get rid of the stop motion animation. It's not my personal choice because for me it's kind of nostalgic, but let's be honest. Kids these days are used to smooth, colorful, pretty animated films. And Rudolph just isn't that. This last part is for ABC and Disney because they own the rights after all. We need to make this a TV movie, just like the original, a one-day-a-year tradition, on ABC December 6th, and reintroduce this classic story to a new generation. If we're remaking any Christmas movie this holiday season, it needs to be Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Thank you.
Well, all right. Well, I appreciate you bringing up Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. It's a good classic. I love that film, and you're right. Kids don't like it these days. All right. Next, we have the man, the legend, the bitch of the week, Jamar.
Okay, I'll sign autographs later. Calm down, guys.
Oh, Jesus.
So first, I have to say this is probably the hardest challenge I've had yet, and it's not because I'm the bitch of the week. That it doesn't bother me. I just brushed right off my shoulders, but it's because I'm tasked with rebooting probably the perfect Christmas movie. Maybe not perfect, but close. It's very, very close. So my approach was a little bit different. It looks like actually not too different because I see you guys kind of all took the same route. But instead of completely overhauling this movie, I just have a few plot changes that I'd like to make it a little bit more modern. And I know you're probably wondering at this point, Jamar, don't bury the lead. What is your movie? I was given Jack Frost. If you haven't seen this movie, it's absolutely fucking amazing. Michael Keaton is a complete star, and I think this movie is great for all ages. So first for me, to give it a little bit of a touch of a modern update, the opening scene always starts with, obviously because it's a movie, starts with the Jack Frost band blaring and playing this little small town gig. And there's a little A&R executive in the back. He's like, who is these people? They sound amazing. Get through a record deal. Well, I'm going to change that because that's old school. That's not how people get discovered nowadays. So instead, Charlie, Jack's son, actually is recording the band practice, and he decides to post this online, and that video goes viral. And that's actually how they end up getting the deal. Now, it's kind of ironic because of that. It also pulls his dad away from him, even though it was something he was doing to bring them together. Another thing is the magical harmonica. Charlie plays his harmonica after a tragedy of his father, and he's just sad, and he finds this box that his dad gave him of a bunch of stuff. He builds a snowman, and then he plays his harmonica. Well, kids don't know how to play a harmonica. It's a weird thing. You blow in it. It sounds awful. So what I'm getting rid of that. I'm taking that away. And instead, I'm going to go with a composition book that Charlie finds in his dad's box of things. And he reads some of the lyrics and kind of gets a feel for him. And he starts writing down his own lyrics about how much he misses his father. That's what creates the magical of Christmas, or the magical Christmas moment. So those two things, I think, plot-wise, will change it. I think we should keep all the fun stuff about the snowball fights and things like that. Because, again, this movie really embodies what it is to be a kid in Christmas and snow. And sadly, I just don't feel like that happens anymore. But anyways, let's get to the cast. So really some notable changes. Michael Keaton, like I said, was absolutely fucking amazing, right? He was perfect for the role. He was silly, but he was serious. He was cheesy, all those things. He felt like the real dad. So I need someone who can still do that same thing today. Bill Hader is going to be that guy, because also after about halfway into the movie, he dies. Spoiler alert. And I need him to come back and have that unique voice to be the snowman. And Bill Hader will smash that. Also, Charlie, he's probably one of the most important characters in this movie. You need to be able to relate with this kid, So I went with Jeremy Ray Taylor. And if you don't know, it's the chubby kid from It. He just has a very lovable face, and you just can't help to feel sympathetic to whatever trials he's going through. I think he's also an amazing actor. And then Gabby, Jack's wife. She needs to be someone who is a mother figure, strong because she keeps taking care of her child after her husband passes away. But she also has to be hot. I'm just being real. So Kelly Preston was really amazing in that role before. So I'm going to go with someone aged a little bit older, Marissa Tomei. She has that really great acting chops, but at the same time, she's hot. Sorry. Okay. And then my last notable change is Mac, which is Jack's best friend and bandmate, who actually comes in and starts to be like a father figure, in air quotes, to try and help out around the house. He's also really silly and lovable, but he never gives you that vibe that he's trying to take Jack's place or like take a crack at Gabby. So I need someone who's going to be fun and silly in that role. I'm going to go with Seth Rogen on that. He has that funny laugh. He seems kind of like a guy who wouldn't have kids, but he really wants to be close to kids in a good way. So I like that. And then lastly, I need a director that's going to nail the happy family vibe that this movie does. And I'm going with Sean Anders. He directed Instant Family and both like the Daddy Holmes film. So he's going to kill it. But anyways, those are really just my major changes that I want to make to this movie, reboot it and make it another classic Christmas movie. That's it.
All right. Well, I hope you guys all have fun tearing apart 3 awesome Christmas movies.
I mean Jack Frost was the last of the options because I thought We Wish You a Turtle Christmas was going to be perfect, but Jake, shut that down.
Man, I wonder why.
I was gonna make you do a movie called Holiday Inn, which is like an old movie from the 50s that oof.
You should have made him do the Star Wars Christmas special.
That was on the list too.
It was.
All right, Jake, why don't you go ahead and do yours? Rank them.
All right. Yeah, I can do that. Without getting into it too much, I'm going to go. Let's see, Mike, Jarmar, Jason.
Okay. All right. So I kind of went a different route here. So I thought you guys all did incredible. So great job to all three of you. What's really going to matter is, your attack and defend rounds. So your opening round's not as important as the other ones. But I do want to say you guys all did an excellent job. You picked great movies, and I liked every single person's additions and changes. But I thought the most meat and the most the guy that really blew me away was Jason this week. So Jason's in my top spot. And then I goes Jarmar and then Mike. So it's pretty even game so far.
Yeah. I also want to say that you guys all did really well, and no complaints all around. You just had to go with which one was strongest, in my opinion.
Oh man, that's the most love I've ever gotten in the first round.
Guys, I wanted you to know that this is a pretty fucking even game, so you guys all did amazing there. All right, so next we're going to switch over to the attack round, also known as fuck everyone else. All right, first up we have Jason. Jason, I'm going to put 30 seconds on the clock, as you do have 30 seconds to shit down their throats.
Sounds good.
Tasty.
All right. Let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
And go.
Mike, Scott Calvin, not a douche. You understand that the entire point of the story arc is that he becomes humbled by the end of it, right? So to change that plot line completely fucks up the entire movie. Jarmar, onto you. Okay, you got settled with Jack Frost. You got to basically remake the fucking Christmas version of White Noise. So I'm sorry to hear that. But, man, a depressing movie. I don't even know where to go with that. And Seth Rogen wants to be close to kids. You made that sound like way too fucking to catch a predator.
Shut up, Jason. Okay.
Sorry, that's
lie.
my Seth Rogen laugh.
Christmas version of White Noise was pretty fucking funny. All right. So next we have Jarmar. You ready, Jarmar?
Yeah, I can go.
And go.
So I'm going to start with you, Mike. Excuse me. If you're going to reboot this movie, it makes sense because it's a really good movie. I give you that. But how the hell did Scott become Santa Claus? Like, no one ever explains that. And you didn't even answer that big question right there. So your reboot it doesn't make sense to me. Also, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, that is a story that's been told time and time again. Kids aren't put off because of how it looks and how it's old. They just don't care. There's so many more exciting things that they draw their attention and give them a better message. And you don't need to reboot this
time.
movie.
Man, you guys are killing it tonight. Man, you're making my job fucking hard. All right, so last but not least, we have Garbage Man Mike. You ready, Garbage?
That's just rude.
All right, you ready, Mike?
I'm ready.
And go.
All right, let's start with Rudolph. I mean, really, we don't need a garbage dumpster fire animated film based off an old film that was amazing, just like they did with The Grinch recently. Come on, Jason, you can do better than that. There's no reason that even needs remade. As far as Jack Frost goes, that's not even good enough to be on Freeform, let alone get enough budget to be made into another movie. And also, having his mom be hot and degrading women as just being like, oh, I'm going to cast her just because I like the way she looks. Really, Jarmar? Way to really be here in 2019.
Oh, God. Oh, God. All right, so we're going to completely reboot that. We're going to go back 30 seconds back on the clock. We're going to edit that out.
Can we just mention how low-key, weirdly political this is getting? Like, Jason went after the MAGA crowd at first, being like, back when America was amazing, this movie got made. And then swinging out with the, don't degrade women in 2019.
All right, so I'm gonna go first. Again, you guys are all killing it. Like, you're all doing a phenomenal job. So props to all of you. So far as the attack round goes, I have Mike at the top spot, Jarmar in the second spot, and Jason in the third spot.
Yeah, mine's a little different. I'm going to go Jarmar, and then Jason and Mike.
Okay.
It's okay, Wes. I get it. I wouldn't want to go against the women either.
All right, give me 1 second. I'm just tallying everything up. Damn, still close. All right. So this is going really well so far, you guys. This is the closest game I think we've ever played. All right, so next up we have the defend round, also known as "Don't Come For Me, Bro." Okay, first up we have Jarmar. Jarmar, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm actually happy to be going first. I need to clear some things up.
Oh,
right.
man.
All right, 30 seconds on the clock, and go.
So both of you guys need to really start paying attention when I actually talk about my shit. Okay. So you said it's a depressing movie. This movie is about cherishing loved ones because you never know. Time is never guaranteed. So you should pay attention and be close with them as much as you can. And clearly you're not paying attention, Mike, because I picked her maybe because she could nail the role of a single parent. And it just helps that she's a hot mom. That's it.
All right, 6 seconds on the clock. I like it. Mean, green, lean, teen machine. Okay, next up, who do we have? Oh, yeah. Oh, we got Garbage Corner, Mike. Mike, you ready?
Yep, I'm ready.
All right, 30 seconds on the clock, and go.
All right, let's start with Jason. Okay, first off, the fact that you think that Scott Calvin has to be a douche to make this movie, as long as he's a bad dad, that's all that matters. I mean, realistically, bad dads are just as bad, if not worse, than douches, and I'm pretty sure most of us in this group can fucking account for that. As far as Jamar goes, what do you mean, how is he become Santa? He accidentally kills the old Santa. What do you need? Him to fucking just go and like pass the torch, or worse, shoot him for breaking and entering into his house? What are you even talking about?
Damn, you saved 3 seconds off the clock. You guys are on fire tonight.
Okay, can I have that movie, please, where somebody shoots Santa for breaking and entering?
All right, last up, we have Cactus Handjob Jason.
All right.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
30 seconds on the clock, and go, beautiful.
All right, first, Shamar. Kids still sing the song this day, so to say they don't care is completely bullshit. It's an amazing story about overcoming obstacles and in life and not judging people based off their differences, so that shit still holds up. Speaking of holding up, The Grinch held up way better. It wasn't stop-motion animated. And Mike, you decided to remake a movie that still holds up in The Santa Claus. It holds up way better than Rudolph ever did. That stop-motion animation is what turns kids off.
God, 6 seconds saved. Man, you guys, I'm buying you guys all cookies. That's great. All right, I went first last time. You go first this time, Jake.
All right. Let's see. I'm going to go with Mike, Jamar, Jason on this one. And I'll get into it a little bit. One of my favorite studios currently making movies is Laika, which is a stop-motion animation company. So saying that stop-motion is pretty much dead offends me.
1964 stop-motion animation.
Oh, wait. Let him go, Jason. Let him go.
Well, no, because, you said it a couple times.
Like, last every fucking round. So
Let him go. Jason, shut up. Let him go.
It's all good.
Oh man.
No, because you're saying it need I get it. Computer
Okay, Jake,
animated.
I have to judge you too. Just remember that.
Go ahead and get it out, and I'll say something.
No, Laika could nail I understand where you're coming from with making it, animated, computer generated. Great. I understand that The Grinch was actually not as bad as people thought it would be when they did the, CG version of it.
It was terrible.
It just seems like every time you shit on it, you're just like, kids are turned off by this. Kids don't like this. I'm like, I can't tell you how many kids love Coraline. And that's stop motion. It just has to be done well.
I wasn't talking about kids not liking stop motion animation. I'm saying kids don't like that old version of Rudolph. I have 2 kids and they don't. So that.
Yeah, but you've said it.
You 3.
Then you phrased it wrong.
I'm done. I'm done. Move on.
Judge 2 is going to take over here. So I just kind of want to sidebar also what Jake said. So he's talking about stop motion not being appealing to children. And Jason's not wrong. Laika's still there. And they're lucky that the owner of the company has a fucking rich father, because their movies, unfortunately, they're great movies. They don't make money because people are unfortunately turned off by stop motion. Think of Nightmare Before Christmas. It's timeless now, just like how Rudolph is still timeless, but it flopped when it came out. Every single stop motion movie is flopped when it's come out. Now, my order goes Jason, Jamar, Mike. So this game is incredibly close, and it's going to come down to the closing round. So you guys, all 3, need to make sure you have a good closing round, because it's vital. And we could possibly have a tie for, we'll figure out what happens then. All right. So we're going into the last round, closing arguments. First up, we have Mike.
All right, I am so happy I'm going first. All right. So, all 3 of these, great movies. All 3 of them have like a special place in all of our hearts, but ultimately it comes down to which one could be made into a good remake. And that's the Santa Claus. If you have the right director and the right cast, you can keep that humor alive while still modernizing it so that way the generations now have something that they can take to their kids until it gets rebooted again, and so on and so forth, versus things that, have been around for a while and they try to keep them relevant, but they really just don't work. So ultimately, I really feel like with Jason Bateman and like the cast I have and the right director, we could see the Santa Claus come back to life and be as amazing as it was 20 years ago. And that's going to be my closing argument.
All right, cool. Next
Has
up,
it really fucking been 20 years since that movie came out? Fuck, I'm old.
Yeah.
Right?
If you think
Probably
you're
more than that,
old,
actually.
imagine how Jason's feeling.
Fuck you.
All right, next up we have Jarmar. Give me some closing arguments.
All right, this is pretty much going to be pretty easy for you. So basically, in closing, I'm just going to make real quick one final case as to why Jack Frost deserves to be the rebooted movie this week. Fun cameos aside, getting Michael Keaton back in there, that would be awesome. This film truly embodies what it is to be a Christmas movie. The message is extremely impactful. And I think children and adults deserve to have this message shared for another generation. At the same time, though, this movie is really fun. If you haven't watched it lately, you definitely should check it out. It definitely gives you that vibe of what it's like to be a kid in a snow day. I didn't play hockey, but I threw some snowballs in my day. Most importantly, though, and I can't stress this enough, it is a true Christmas miracle. Michael Keaton character Jack Frost, in my iteration, it'll be Bill Hader, had the chance to I don't want to say redo. He had the chance to relive an opportunity that he missed out because he was so busy with his band. He was able to come closer to his kids and realize, and also tell everyone else, that time is not guaranteed. And that's a really important message, like I said earlier. So with this cast of phenomenal actors, Bill Hader, Marissa Tomei, Seth Rogen, if you don't like him, shut up, Jeremy Ray Taylor, and then an amazing director. Every movie I've seen that he's directed, I've cried. Sean Anders. They will definitely make another classic Christmas movie all over again. And that's my case.
All right. So then we have Cactus Handjobs. You ready?
Yeah, hold on one second.
Okay. Waited 1 second.
Gotta type his up.
And go ahead.
Yeah,
He's just writing a rebuttal for me personally.
No.
He's just gonna have like a 5-minute thing about how Jake's stupid for thinking live action so long.
I wrote this a couple of days ago. I'm going to stick with it. It's a little bit of a risk, but we're going to go with it.
And here's my closing argument. Jake, you fucking suck. Jason, 2. You're 2 for me.
Yeah, Jason wins that round. I'm sorry.
Jamar, while he types that up, did you rewatch?
No, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Yes, I did. I did watch it.
You are welcome.
I guess I'm not ready.
It's really a fucking good movie.
This is what happens when you're not ready and you've had 2 people go before you.
I was ready before we even started talking. All right. We ready?
Yeah.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen of our listening audience, judges, this is an uncomfortable topic. Holiday movies are family tradition, so to even suggest a reboot or a remake is blasphemous to some. I want you to think of My Rudolph as less of a reboot and more of a revitalization. What is old can be new again with a fresh coat of paint and a few new voices, you might say. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer had a very shiny nose, but due to poor animation, you couldn't even say it glows. All of the other reindeer used to laugh and call him names. They moved so stiff and clunky, they looked outdated playing their reindeer games. Then one foggy Christmas Eve, a very skinny Santa came to say, "Rudolph, with your nose somewhat bright, won't you guide my sleigh tonight?" Then all the reindeer loved him, though their emotion could not be conveyed, because their stop-animated deer emotion could not be displayed. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer needs a reboot to continue to bring generations of children glee. If we remake this movie, we will go down in history. Thank you very much.
All right.
It's just hilarious to hear you say "stop animated deer." We're gonna have to have Jason quit competing because he fucking kills you closing out.
Also, like,
Wait,
it's supposed to be her story, right? Like we're 2019. It's not his story anymore. It's his. It's her.
Jesus Christ.
What
It's
about to say,
Rudolph.
Jamar?
no. No,
You're welcome, Jarmar.
Jamar's about to be pissed that he lost to that.
I'm more pissed that you weren't even ready after having two people go before you, and you're still going to beat both of us.
I wasn't ready
He
because
had
of
to get
that. I was
his
doing
singing
something.
voice ready. He had to get into the right emotional space for that performance.
Oh my god.
You know, you guys all again did an excellent job. So I'm gonna go first here. My top spot's gonna go to Jason because I like what he did, and it's kind of ballsy to do that. And he put that song, which is a timeless song, as a classic, and conveyed it into why this needs a new revitalization. Which, when I dug that. My second spot's gonna go to Jamar. You had a really good closing round as well. Mike, I really feel like your closing round there wasn't enough meat there. You're like, hey, these are all great movies. This movie needs remade, essentially. So that's the way I'm going to vote.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree on all
right,
accounts. I'm glad that I went after Jason before that round so that he could come out with a fire. I know he said he wrote it 2 days ago, but I felt like I put him in the right mindset to do that. So yeah, I agree with Wes's judgment.
Damn.
All right. Well, I think we all know what that
He had to
means.
type something up before he fucking even started his stupid song.
We all know what that means. We tallied up the votes, and right now we have a tie for first place, which is Jason and Jamar. So congratulations. Jamar is officially out of the Bitch of the Week seat, but that means we do have a new Bitch of the Week, and that motherfucker's name is Garbage. I mean, Mike. Mike is officially the Bitch of the Week. Next week we will be competing regarding video games. Is that right, guys?
Yeah.
About damn time.
Yeah.
So can I just say
No,
it's a lot of fun.
I'm talking about
judging.
Mike being the bitch of the week. I'm sorry.
I just want to say it's a lot of fun judging without like the computer in front of me because I can't keep track of all the scores, so I don't know what's going to happen, and I just I'm really honest. I don't try to balance anything out. I just there's no extra shit to it, so it's awesome when you can judge and not take any of that into account, and then just fucking go. And Mike ends up being the bitch of the week. It's amazing.
You guys,
All of your
seriously,
Christmas presents.
all three of you, the stellar jobs this week. You guys are all really fucking brought it. So, all three of those are movies that I would watch, and I'm proud of all you guys. You guys did a great job. So, good job.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, thank you.
I chose to judge this week because I'm not really into. I'm kind of a Grinch. I'm not really into Christmas all that much. I do like some Christmas movies, stuff like that. Like the timeless classic Christmas movies of Die Hard and Gremlins. Yeah, you guys all did great, and I'm definitely glad I was not in the argument this week.
All right, perfect. Jason, you want to close us out?
Yeah, let's do it. Thank you for listening to this week's Fanboy Fight Club podcast. We are Media Junkies flagship podcast, but we offer so much more. You can catch Michael and I on the Gimmick Minute Wrestling podcast, and Mike, and also make some t-shirts. You want to tell everybody where they can find them?
Yeah, make sure to follow us on all of our social media because they're posted throughout both Twitter and Instagram. You can also just go to tpublic.com and type in Media Junkie, Gimmick Minute, or Fanboy Fight Club, and the shirts will pop up with links that'll take you straight to the store for all my other great designs.
Awesome. And you can also listen to Jamar's new show, Why Are You a Gamer? Jamar, you want to tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, it's a great show. I know you spend thousands of dollars in a year on video games, and you never thought to think, why am I a gamer? And this show is where we figure that out.
And the answer is always addiction.
I just,
I
I
have
want
to say the episodes I've listened to are fantastic. By the way,
Yeah,
guys.
I was just about to say that.
And
if you-
I'm super happy that I'll be on it eventually. But
Episode 5 is all you, man.
yeah, I just wanted to
episode 5.
say.
What?
Episode 5.
You got bumped. You're in Media Junkie and you got bumped from 4
Oh, wait,
to
no,
5.
episode 4. Episode 4, I'm sorry.
Oh, keep him as 5. That's hilarious.
No, I haven't looked.
You need to just find
thought
some
Jason
random
was 4.
person and have them like be number 4 just so he's number 5.
I also want to say that podcast is excellent. I mean, you really dive deep into the psyche behind why you play video games. So if you don't listen to that podcast, I highly recommend you check it out because Jarmar is doing God's work.
Yeah, really good. Coming from somebody who has had some experience in interviewing people, Jarmar does a really great job with it. So
it's like the hot ones of video game shows.
I just want to point out that like Jason straight stole Jamar's idea and just did it like a week or 2 before him, and he's like, for someone who normally interviews people, he does a real great job.
I gave him credit, and I asked him for permission beforehand, and I have interview experience outside of that, so thank you.
Oh, okay.
All right. Let's wrap this up. The bitch of the week
All
doesn't
right,
need to
definitely.
talk anymore.
Yeah, sorry. You can find links to all of our great content on our social media accounts, like at for the wrestling podcast, we have at Live Your Gimmick. For Media Junkie, we have at Media Junkie Vids. You can also find us at Instagram under the same account. You can find all of our YouTube content. What's some of the stuff we have on YouTube, Wes?
There's a lot of stuff. I mean, there's gaming streams that are on there. I'm now uploading Why Are You a Gamer podcast on there. Once I can get all the other podcasts converted into videos, I'll make sure to post all the other podcast ones on there, which is great. Tutorials on how to share PS4 games, how to fix Nintendo's, news. There's theories on different Spider-Man movies. There's a lot of good stuff on there.
Modern Toy Fair is on there.
Toy
Modern
Fair.
Toy
I was with you, Mike. I was there for you,
That's
Mike.
right. That's right. Modern Turfway is on there. Oh my God, Modern Toy Fair is on
Turfway.
there. And if you want to hear Mike's voice in the smoothest, calmest, most serial killer-like way,
We should hashtag the Modern Toy Fair videos with ASMR.
No, don't do that. We'll get sued because with the whole thing with the them marking all toy videos as children thing, it will end up real bad.
No, it's not sexual at all. I don't know what you're talking about. It's a calming effect. It's like meditation.
all right.
Oh.
And here's his bulge, and you can see here.
Oh my
It's
God!
a half-an-inch bulge, and the pants.
It seems very proportionate with the size of this 1/6 scale figure. That
right.
his bulge would be 3 centimeters big. So
Deadpool would have a very large cock. He would. I can imagine a large cock on him.
Okay, Jason, let's close this out before it gets real fucked up.
All right, Jake, you wanna tell us about the Fanboy Fight Club Facebook page and our Twitter?
Yeah, I mean, I run both of those. So if you want to interact with the person who does the least for Media Junkies, you can find me at FBFC Podcast on Twitter or on our Facebook page, which is Fanboy Fight Club Podcast.
All right, awesome. Well, hey, thank you guys again for listening. So I'm going to end with a couple of questions. Will Michael do his next argument in his calm serial killer voice? Will Jake jerk off Mike's nerd boner? Will Wes ever host a podcast? And will Jarmar jerk it to Marissa Tomei tonight? Thank you for listening. Find out the answers to all these questions and more on the next episode of the Fanboy Fight Club podcast. Goodbye, everybody.
I really feel like I should host a podcast.
I was thinking the same thing. I was